What's up, fellas? Doom here. Cards of Castles. I'm gonna show you guys another deck. So this one is called Peasant Drawburn. Pretty simple concept. Peasant means that it's only commons and rares. This is Warlock's Crusaders deck. The idea is to draw through your deck with spells and stuff. Very few units. There's only 4 units we're running. And play burn cards. So this is gonna be a short video. It won't be as long as the one that I made for Suicide Bomber. That was a detailed video, but just to give you an idea, and you guys can also alter this deck how you might like, and I'll give you some ideas for upgrades. And what I'll do is I'll showcase a few games with this deck as well. So this deck, I think it's fairly cheap and like inexpensive. Not only that, it doesn't take much knowledge to play this deck. I feel like you can play this deck and get to rank 10 very easily and up to rank 5 if you know what you're doing. And if you really play carefully, you can even play this at rank 1. You might not win every game, especially against Crusaders who have heals. So while I'm talking, I'll show you guys the other half of the deck. But if you do like this playstyle and like this deck, there are a few choice upgrades that will definitely increase your win rate. So that's the deck. Let's go through it. So Sacrifice, this just deals damage to the castle, 4 damage. Swift Justice, this card to draw a card. And this can also be good if you body block your castle with a unit, which is pretty weak. If you play Swift Justice on it, then it can take care of any attackers. And you want to do that if there's too much pressure or if the attacker is too strong, dealing too much damage. You actually want them to deal a little bit of damage to your castle. I'll tell you why in a second. Dragon Lore, for more cycling, we get to draw 2 cards, and Heal. This is mainly heal our castle, plus we get to draw a card. And Heal is good in this deck. Why? Because we only have 2 cards that cost 1 here. And you can see in the high end, we're only running 3 gold cards. So what happens in like turn 3 when you don't have any of the 3 gold cards? You play a 2 gold card. Then you still have that 1 extra gold. So that's where like Dragon Lore and Heal will come in handy. They'll help to fill out your gold curve, and you can cycle through your deck faster. So I do recommend keeping Heal in your deck. You can get rid of other stuff. I'll tell you what in a bit. Burn is awesome. 3 damage. I mean, it's not awesome. It's mediocre, but we kind of need that direct damage to the castle, so that's why Burn is there. And we want to keep our spells cheap, at least in this version, because ideally you want to be able to burn the castle down all in one turn. So that might not be until turn like 6, 7, 8, something like that. But then you'll play your burn and the other burn spell in a second. Chaotic Storm is mainly cycle and draw a card. Dark Bolt again cycle, but you want to deal this 2 damage to the castle. This 2 damage is important. Eternal Judgment. This is one of the strongest cards in the deck because it'll be defensive for us. If we play it on castle, opponent is afraid to attack, especially if they have a lot of weak units. If they do attack, that's great because we want that damage to stack up on our opponent's castle so we can burn them down. In fact, it's many of the games you're either going to win very narrowly or you're going to lose narrowly. And this is the card that will probably decide that. And if you get 2 of these on your castle, that's excellent because then for every attack, you end up dealing 2 points of damage to the enemy. So if they have like a unit that has 2 attack, let's take like a warrior or something, and they attack your castle, then you evenly trade, which is awesome. If they use a rat, which only has 1 attack, and they attack your castle, then you get to deal 2 to theirs. So it'll just prevent a lot of those units from even attacking because your opponent will be worried and they want to build up to get a massive attack, which will worry you because that will kill you. Flying Books, it's mainly here to draw a card, and it's good to awaken Billy, and we can use it with Sacrifice, and we can also use it with this card, Grotesque Offering. Mischievous to deal 3 damage, and again, same just like Flying Books, with a Sacrifice Grotesque. Imp, you want to try to play this guy early because you want to deal those 3 points of damage. Those 3 points of damage will matter. Books, you don't necessarily need to play early, but if you do play him early, try to see if you can rush in with one of these 2 and just get a free attack on the castle before it dies. That will help. Every bit of damage in this deck helps. Repair is mainly here to cycle through your deck, but it can buy you a turn if you use this to heal your castle. So this card is probably the card you can consider swapping out first if you want to start swapping out cards. Doesn't do that much, but occasionally it will save you a turn, and the turn that you need to just draw the right card or to get that extra bit of gold to finish off. Uncontrolled Burst, 4 damage to the castle, but it also deals 2 damage to your castle. So sometimes what I'll do in earlier in the game when I don't have much gold and not much else to do, if I didn't get any of the draw cards, I'll play Uncontrolled Burst, and then I'll play Heal on my castle to heal up right after, to get more use out of the heal instead of just cycling it and not getting any use out of it. Incinerate here is mainly to take out any big threats. So this can't deal damage to your opponent's castle, which sucks. It's probably the worst thing about this card. This is probably the second card I would consider swapping out, because, like I said, you want to deal damage to the castle, and this one does not. But this can be good to take out something like a Dancing Swords or a Master at Arms, something like that that's going to kill you. Or if your opponent pumps up a unit very early in the game, then you don't want that to stick around, because after 3-4 turns you're going to die. So how do you kill it? So you use Incinerate, and then if you're forced to, you use your Flying Books or Imps to kill it, or Dark Bolt or something like that. But you try not to use your Uncontrolled Burst or Burn unless if you really, really need to. If you start killing stuff with that, then you're going to lose the game, because we barely just have enough damage with everything put together to kill our opponent's castle. At the end of the game, you're probably going to have like 0 cards in your deck, or close to 0 cards, because you're going to draw everything in your deck. Rally to Town here, you can have some blockers, you can try to take out some cheap units, but more than anything else, this is used with Sacrifice and Grotesque Offering. So that's the deck. I'll show you some upgrades to get if you want to improve it, if you like this playstyle. I think the first upgrade you should definitely get, which will add a lot of value to this deck, is this guy, Craxus. So Craxus, on turns, he's going to just run up and deal 7 damage to your opponent's castle, which is awesome and amazing. And yeah, there's nothing more to say. This is the first card you should think of adding in to upgrade the deck. Some people in this type of deck, they would like to run this guy, Acolyte, and try to get a few extra points of damage through Acolyte. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. An Acolyte can also be a defense unit, since he's ranged and you keep him in the back anyway. And you can even use him with Sacrifice, Grotesque Offering. I personally feel that he doesn't really add that much to this deck, but if you have him, there's nothing wrong with adding him in and trying him out. Maybe you guys like him. It's just not my cup of tea for the most part. Buildings. So now we're talking about upgrades. The other upgrade, so again, Craxus is first. Second upgrade I would suggest is, here we go. This card, Detonate. So Detonate is awesome because Detonate will deal damage directly to the castle and also everything nearby. So here you definitely want to hit the castle, but you might be able to take out some buildings along with Chaotic Storm, or if you're running the Acolyte, you can get that extra point of damage. And don't worry about discarding here, because we're drawing so many cards. You can discard your heal, you can discard anything. You can even discard a Peasant Militia through Rally. So Detonate is really good in this deck. And now, 2 suggestions if you want to move forward into different paths. One, you can kind of go a little suicide and play Ultra of the Dark Lord. And this card will net you 2, 4, 6 points of damage. If it nets you 6 points of damage, it definitely paid for itself. Even if it nets you 4 points of damage, then it paid for itself as well. And more than that is just sweet. So this combos well with Sacrifice and Grotesque Offering and all of those Peasant Militias. And if you're running Altered, then I would consider maybe running Acolyte, because you can also sacrifice Acolyte as well to it. Other card is Incinerator. If you play Incinerator, you're probably going a little bit more control oriented, so you can consider that. If you go this route, then you're probably going to have to start changing up your deck though. It won't be a draw burn deck anymore. Instead, it's going to start being control oriented, and you're going to want to play things like Headwood and Saurus and maybe Sentry Golem, stuff like that. So some bigger meteor guys at the end, because you won't be able to do much if you're focusing on playing more units without the burn. Then you're going to have to win with units as well. If you choose that path, Brewery is another great card to add in for that type of construction. And if you want to have a go at it, you can also have Tower of Tarius with all the draw that we're doing. However, this card is going to be a little underwhelming, so I don't recommend this. I would only add this card in if you want to have fun, but I don't think this card is worth it, in my opinion. School of Pyromancy is there too, but again, then you need to be running a lot of units. You don't want to just be running 4 units. So School of Pyromancy, don't put in this deck. If you change up the deck dramatically, then you can add in School of Pyromancy. Right now, there are a lot of Warlock Crusader decks out there. This one is a spell-based deck that's about drawing cards, burning down your opponent's castle. So number 1, Craxus. Number 2, Detonate. And then you can consider if you want to play Altar and if you want to play the Acolyte as well. But Craxus, definitely get that card. Okay, so that's the deck. I'm going to showcase a couple of games with this. So I built this deck actually on my Nora Doom account and not on Blight, just because I'm planning on playing a different Peasant deck next month with Blight to rank up, and I didn't want to play this deck to rank up with. I do feel it's pretty solid. However, I myself probably wouldn't have much fun ranking up with this deck, since I think it's just too straightforward to play style. You draw cards, you burn them down, and I want to have fun experimenting with some other things. So if you have any questions, go ahead and ask below. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you guys in the next video.